سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم آمين. يقول عبد الله بن عمرو أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الصيام والقرآن يشفعان للعبد. يقول الصيام: إني منعته الطعام والشهوات بالنهار فشفعني فيه. ويقول القرآن: منعته النوم بالليل فشفعني فيه فيشفعان. It is narrated that Abdullah bin Amr radiallahu anhu said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that the fasting and the Quran will be an intercessor for the Muslims on the Day of Judgment. The fasting will say, Ya Allah, I kept him from his food and from his desires during the day, so allow me to intercede for him. And the Quran will say, Ya Allah, I prevented him from his sleep at night, so allow me to intercede for him. And Allah will allow them to intercede for us on Yawm al-Qiyamah. My brothers and sisters, on the Day of Judgment, it is a day in which it is every man and woman for themselves. You're not going to know your father. You're not going to know your mother. A mother will not know her child. Everyone will not care for each other. Everyone for themselves. And it's very hard to think of this because the love that a mother has for her child is the biggest love that exists in this dunya, other than Allah's love for us, right? But on this day, everyone will be for themselves, as if you never knew them, right? And the only thing that's going to be with you on this day is your deeds. It's going to be your deeds and, inshaAllah, what we call the shafa'ah, right? The intercession. So there are many types of intercessions that we can talk about. But first, let's understand what this idea of intercession is. It is simply when someone or something is going to come before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they're going to plead to Him, Ya Allah, please, on behalf of this person, save them from the hellfire. Forgive them for their sins. Right? And it's usually a last resort on the Day of Judgment. It comes towards the end, during your judgment. And the thing about intercessors is they come and they interrupt your judgment to try to change the favor or to change the outcome. And there are many different types of intercessions that we can get. And the best one that we can get is from none other than our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has the greatest intercession of them all. He will continue to intercede over and over and over until the Day of Judgment is done. He's not going to take a break. Because that's how much that he loves and he cares for his ummah. Right? So it's narrated, a very famous hadith by Anas ibn Malik, that the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, he said, on this day, we are going to all be so scared, right? And these people, they're going to go to first the prophets. They're going to go to Adam alayhi salam. They're going to say, Ya Adam, please help me, intercede for me. And he's going to say, I am not for it. Go to Ibrahim. So what are they going to do? They're going to go to Ibrahim. So they go to Ibrahim and they're going to say, Ya Ibrahim, we need your help, intercede for us. And what is he going to say? He's going to say, I am not for it. Right? I'm not for it. Go to Musa. Because indeed Musa, Allah spoke directly to him. So he's higher than me, right? That's what he said. So we're going to go to who? Musa. And then Musa's going to say, I am not for it. Right? I'm not for it. Go to Isa, because he is the direct result of Allah's will. He was a miracle birth, right? So then we'll go to Isa alayhi salam. And what is he going to say? What do you think? He's going to say, I am not for it. Go to none other than Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Until finally Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is approached and he will say, Ana laha, I am for it. Right? He's going to say, Ana laha, I am for it. And he's going to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to what? To intercede for these people. And he's going to prostrate in front of the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is going to tell him, Ya Muhammad, irfa' ra'sak, washfa' tushaffa' wa sal tu'ta. He's going to say, Ya Muhammad, raise your head and grant your intercession, ask me what you want and you shall receive it. Right? And he's going to ask him to say, Ya Allah, allow me to intercede for the people who have just a mustard seed of faith in their hearts. As you know, that's a very small amount. And he's going to say, it's yours, it's granted to you. And then Prophet Muhammad's going to prostrate again. And he's going to tell him again, irfa' ra'sak, washfa' tushaffa' wa sal tu'ta, right? He's going to say, Ya Allah, allow me to grant my intercession for anyone who has amount of faith less than even a mustard seed. Right? They call him mithqalu dharra. Even less than that. And out of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is he going to say? He's going to say, it's granted to you. Indeed, it's yours. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not take a break on this day out of his love for his ummah. He cries and says, Ummati, Ummati, right? And he saves his intercession for what we call Ahlul Kaba'ir, the people who do the major sins. The people who we might see as don't deserve it at all, considering that they wasted their life doing major sins, right? The people who did barely any good deeds. But because they had a small amount of faith, what? Allah is going to have mercy on them because the Prophet asked for that, and He's going to grant it to them. So as you can see, intercession on this day is something that is great because it could be the difference between going to Jahannam or going to Jannah. And that's not the only type of intercession that we have. We have the angels. The angels will intercede for the people who they used to record the deeds for, right? And on top of the angels, the other prophets will also intercede for their nations, their previous nations. Then we have the shuhada. The shuhada will intercede for 70 people, right? Because that's the value of a martyr in Islam. So their family members, they're going to save their family members. So this is something that when we think about what's happening in Palestine, this makes you feel better. Not good, because we know what's happening isn't right. However, they're shuhada. And that's the greatest honor that you can receive on the Day of Judgment, right? Guaranteed ticket to paradise, and you bring 70 people with you. And then there's the awliya of Allah. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Indeed, the awliya or the friends of Allah, they are what? They are not going to fear or have any sorrow or grieve. But what about them is special? الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. They are the ones who believed and were God-fearing. What did we talk about a few days ago in my last khatirah? We talked about at-taqwa, right? We talked about having God consciousness or fearing Allah through the siyam. So here Allah is saying these people are going to intercede for people on the Day of Judgment. They're going to have a special rank. So how do you become a wali of Allah or amongst the awliya? You need to have fear in Allah, right? And how do you get fear in Allah? Through fasting. And we know that also fasting in and of itself will intercede for you for doing such a great act. So subhanAllah, you're going to notice that everything is connected with each other. And not only that, the children that passed away at a young age, they are also considered what? They're going to intercede. Right? Not just, and these children are like martyrs, you know. You see in Gaza what's happening, and these children are getting direct ticket to paradise, and they are going to intercede for their family members, their parents and their siblings. Allah is going to come to them on this day, and He's going to say, enter Jannah. All of you guys, enter Jannah, without a question. And they're going to say, hold on, what about our parents? They say, we're not going to enter Jannah until our parents come with us. And Allah is going to smile and say, ادخلوا الجنة أنتم وآباؤكم وأمهاتكم. Enter Jannah, you and your parents, your mothers and your fathers. Right? It is even said that on this day, an unborn child of a miscarriage will be pulling their mother by the umbilical cord into Jannah. So there is nothing that goes without being rewarded for in this dunya. There's all kinds of hardships that we face in this dunya, but it will not go without being rewarded for and accounted for. And it is said that on this day, there will be one man that his intercession will be more than the tribe of what was known as Banu Tamim. Now, this is back then was a tribe considered to have numbers beyond even imaginable numbers. Nowadays, think about it, it's basically a large group, right? A countless amount of people. And one man will intercede for all these people. So remember, this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of reckoning when all the deeds should be final, but His mercy is not final. So we know what the shafa'ah is. Now we go back to the hadith that the Quran and Siyam will intercede for you. My brothers and sisters, what is your relationship with the Quran? The Quran is not a book you put on the shelf and open up once a year in Ramadan. Jama'ah, this is the words of Allah. Kalamullah, these are the words of Allah that He revealed to you. It is your ticket to living your life as a proper Muslim. It is your ticket to go to Jannah. Yet a lot of us open up the book once a year, or we barely think about it. How could this be? Allah revealed this book to you to tell you, here is the answers to everything you have. You want to go to Jannah? Read this book. Just read it and implement it. But we don't do that. We stay far away from it. We don't even make an effort to learn it. It's not an excuse to say, I don't know how to read. Okay, go learn how to read. It's simple. There's classes everywhere. We have classes here. Wallah, it's not an excuse. On the Day of Judgment, what are you going to tell Allah? Right? What are you going to tell Him? Ya Allah, I don't know how to read. He's going to say, okay. You had all this time to learn how to read. There's no excuse for this, right? There's no excuse. The Quran is going to come. It's going to be hujjatan laka aw alayk. The Quran, yes, it's an intercessor for you, but it will also be an intercessor against you if needed. If you neglected the book of Allah, it will testify against you. My brothers and sisters, it is the scariest thing that you can think of. Right? It will testify against you. And there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, فَاقْرَأُوا الْقُرْآنِ or اقرأوا القرآن فإنه يأتي يوم القيامة شفيعا لأصحابه. Because indeed, if you read the Quran, it will come to be an intercessor for its friends. Right? And another hadith states that on the Day of Judgment, you will recite from the Quran. And the ayah that you end up at, where you end, is where your